Okay, folks. Let's make sure we charge our phone here. And then we'll get back to where we were. Okay, so we were doing some black lining on the 25 pounder. And it's about done. So I'll go ahead and do one of the bases for them. So it looks like all put together. It's probably what I should have been doing all along. Is just doing it like this. Probably should move the holder here for the cup on this side. But I won't have to do a reach around the where the brushes are. What if somebody's gone through and said, that's these rivets aren't exactly the right place. I need to remove them and re-put them in. Somebody else can do that. So we got to do this other 25 pounder and then the 2 roach coaches. And then everything will be black lined on there for these 2 tractors. There's a lot on here. Good morning. Do I have an SDKFZ 251-7 kit for my scenario? I have lots of 251s. Not lots, but I have one less because there's an Africa Core one. I have a couple, but I haven't converted them. No, I don't think you even need to use a 7, but I got a lot. I got to paint like a platoon of Soviets for that. And I was surfing around yesterday after I stopped going online, and I noticed there were several other people that do kind of what I do, but man, they hop around a lot, and maybe people like that. Maybe get more viewers if I was doing stuff in different scales, but I'm doing this for me, and just hopping around. I mean, I hop around enough. I mean, I stopped painting that one Africa Core in the middle, guy in the middle of it. We'll go back to him here in a couple days. But hop around between scales, between doing games, and I need to have something to show for it. Or, it's bad enough that I haven't based a whole bunch of vehicles. I have as many unbased vehicles. No, it's not that bad, but it's getting there. But just to be hopping around all the time, I don't want to hop around from the eastern front to the western front to the, I placed an order yesterday with a 3D printer, and it was a lot of money. And that was with me staying pretty much on track and not getting everything I wanted. Why doesn't it sound like Veruca Salt, don't I? It just takes at $12 a pop, I could have spent $100 in just Panzer IIIs that I wanted to get. So, I'll just get a few, and, if there's more, get a few more. So, I think there were 2 versions. One carried assault bridge sections and the other bridge ramps. I've only seen the assault bridge one, that they're really, really small. They're thin. I don't know how, maybe in real life, maybe this wide. And I don't know that if you put them together, you could span more than 5 feet. Like, what are you going to do with that? I mean, you're going to cross a trench, but I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting scenario because there's a lot of Soviets in it. It'd probably be a good solo scenario. Put everybody playing the Germans, and they're like outnumbered 4-1 or something like that. It's one of the first scenarios into the Ukraine or something like that. But a lot of these scenarios are just too big. They're just too large for the current time, for the present time. So I'm better off probably making scenarios inspired by some of these scenarios. Ooh. I missed all you guys last night. I don't blame you for not staying up. That's not a time that's very conducive to you guys across the pond. It's one thing to stay up till 1 in the morning. It's a one thing to stay up till 1 in the morning doing something. It's another thing to do something else and then stick around till 1 o'clock in the morning to get started. I wouldn't be doing that either. And I decided not to make coffee last night. It's probably the better for it. Yeah, and to me, the 251-7 always was equipped with a machine gun, if it had one, in the compartment there, firing forward. Which I guess you could remove it and move it into the pintle in the back. But I've seen lots of versions that have like a 28 millimeter smooth bore, squeeze bore. Whew, not smooth bore. Smooth bore wouldn't be worth a damn. Squeeze bore, which also wouldn't be worth a damn because of ammo. I mean, that tungsten ammo is hard to come by. And then you make a vehicle that only uses the tungsten ammo? Doesn't seem like a good idea. Good morning, Marcus. You were missed last night. Yeah, I was a little disappointed. I placed my order in with Chad, and then when he gave me the total, I'm like, and I felt like I really cut down what I wanted to on it. It was a whole lot of dough, and I didn't even get multiple of the same vehicle. So, well, that leaves me something to get next time, isn't it? Doesn't it? 251.5 carried the bridge sections, and 251.7 the ramps. Oh, okay. So I'm just always seeing the ramps. Remember, there were 11 half tracks in the company, so 22 in the battalion. Okay. Man, that's a lot of German vehicles that can break down before you get a bridge across something. Cover any good material? Nah. This worked on the 25 pounder and such. And the two roach coaches. That's what they look like to me. What kind of sandwich do you have? You got any tuna, no crust? Hold on, let me look through here. No. Speaking of tuna, no crust. Growing up, I never understood how some parents let their kids get away with not eating the crust on their bread. So here's the deal. The crust on the bread is the same fucking bread. It's the same thick. It's not like they're asking you to eat the wax around the cheese, right? I mean, it's the same thing. No, I didn't get away with doing stuff like that. And I'm glad I didn't get away with doing stuff like that, because as an adult it makes you, it's convenient to not be a picky eater. I don't eat the crust on my bread. What the hell's wrong with you? Oh, you don't eat the crust on your bread. Your mom will be by with your chores. I don't get to throw food away, and it still bothers me. Like if I go to a restaurant, I don't eat everything. I'm taking it back with me. Well, this is terrible. I gotta look in and find out if these seats are actually metal. They had some kind of pads on them. I have a feeling that they're just metal. They sit your bum right here. Man, my stomach does not like coffee in the morning, I guess. Well, it's not in pain, but it sounds like it should be with those sounds. I actually budget between $10 to $15 a vehicle for Chad's prints. Is that what you were seeing? Oh yeah, his pricing was fine. I just, by the time I added one of each of the Panzer twos, one each of two Panzer threes, a Panzer IV, a Marmon Harrington armored car, an A10, and something else, I was like almost like $100, and I'm like, $100 isn't maybe a lot to some people. I don't know. I don't order big amounts of things like that. I just don't. You know, I mean, I'm hemming and hawing about ordering $40 worth of Crusaders and getting six of them. I don't. It's nothing I need. It's stuff that I want, and that's the difference. If I need it, I would get it. But I just want that. I'm like, it's just good to show a little bit of self control. No, his pricing was fine. You know, I was just like, okay, I would have liked to have gotten two Marmon Harrington armored cars. So the way it works is, I told him what items I wanted, and he sent me a price list already. And I was gonna amend the price list and say, okay, can you change the order to two of these and two of these and three of this? And then but by the time I got the order with one each, I was like, fuck, I'm already up to over $100. I'm like, that's good. It's nothing against him. It's just kind of my own personal. I've been poor before, so I kind of have that and I got this shit to work on. But, I only got one Panzer 3G, one Panzer 3H, where I would have liked to have gotten two H's, four H's and two G's. But maybe it's better that I just paint one at a time, Maybe it's better. So. I don't think a single vehicle is $15. And honestly, it's the shipping that kills me. It's like almost $10 for shipping. And I'm not saying he's gouging me. Shipping's expensive. So you got to get your money's worth, because you're not getting anything for that. That's all. I saw the price and I'm like, damn, there's still more stuff I want, but I really don't want to spend more money on this order. And I always have this thing in the back of my mind, like, okay, what if this guy goes crazy, says I'm not going to do printing anymore after I gave him $300? Right? It's a reasonable. It's like when you go to the casino. I don't go to the casino, but you're like, well, I'm going to gamble with $20. If you lose $20, you lose $20. It's not a big deal, right? Um, that's all. I know I'm overthinking stuff, but that's just how I am. I was trying to calculate what I spend on the hobby each year, including paint supplies. I think it ranges between $400 to $600. Not too bad considering alternatives. No, this is a cheap hobby, especially if you don't go to shows. I mean, going to Historicon's like $600 alone. You're not even buying anything. It's probably more than $600. It's worth it. What's a hobby that's cheaper? I don't know if there is one. Geocaching. I bet you could do that in New York. These people that we know really well got into geocaching. I'm like, oh well, I love maps and I like looking for. That didn't last long. put those things in places where people are looking at you wondering, are you like hiding a drug stash? I said, absolutely not. I just run liquor and firearms. I don't do drugs. No, it's really cheap. What are the other hobbies what are the other hobbies I could potentially do that I don't do that are more expensive? Be really into guns. That's expensive. Um, Boats. Man, boats make just about everything cheap. Boats are ridiculous. And they take a shitload of time. Now, this hobby is cheap as shit. Playing war games is cheap too, but I know so many people that just keep buying and buying and buying and buying. That's a person issue. That person's going to be that way no matter what they're into. Yeah, this is a cheap hobby. And if you buy everything you want, it doesn't give you anything to look forward to. So, like, I wanted to get a couple of Panzer IVs that were short barrel. I only got one. You know, I could have gotten more, but then I would have been like, well, then I wouldn't have been able to get something else. I don't want to. I didn't want to get just German shit. You know. Yeah, the Marmon Harrington armored car has the option apparently to make the lid open. The top of the turret, and also the vision ports. The vision ports could be made open. I did this one all closed up. If we build another one, we'll do another one with like, ideally what I would have done would have been like, get like two. One with the ports open, one with the ports closed. One with the turret open, one with the turret closed. And then, mix and match. But, I wanted to get other stuff too, so. And I needed to get the Matilda turret situation fixed. And I got another Matilda coming. So we'll have a pair of Matildas. Hopefully. And hopefully the engine deck on the other one will work. If not, we're going to put a big old Union Jack on it. So I was looking at the PSC honeys again last night. I think if I get those, I'm going to get some plastic card, find a way to make 6 out of 1 set. It seems so wasteful, doesn't it? I almost wish they wouldn't send me the extra parts. It's like you're throwing away a meal, you know? It's like you go to some place and it's buy one, get one pizza. Well, I just wanted one pizza. Well, you get a free one and you get home and you throw it away. Like, I only wanted one pizza and throw the other pizza away. It's a perfectly good pizza. Sorry. A pizza with one slice missing. Right? So you throw it away. Buy one pizza, get one pizza missing one slice. I just throw the whole pizza away. It's not a full pizza. Like, why? Yeah, I haven't thrown any of that stuff away. I don't know what to do with it. Unfortunately, it's taken over my life. Like, you buy a couple of Panzer III, Panzer and Martyr sets, you got a lot of extra parts. Wasn't raised that way. Me neither. I've been poor before. Not poor, but I haven't had a car before, you know. Like, you know, these kids that have everything, I can look at this now and say this. These kids that have everything, you know, I lived in a college town, right? And people say, "Oh man, college students are poor." Sure, there were poor college students, but there were some that also have drive around cars that I wouldn't drive around now. That's how expensive they are because mommy and daddy bought it for them. And I'm like, that's all fine and good, but you got to have a really well paying job to keep up that standard of living. You know, I would have just liked to have any car. I didn't have a car at all, you know, but I don't have a $50,000 car. That's a lot of fucking money as far as I'm concerned, especially with this COVID jump. I was going to buy a year ago, when the leases were up, I was going to buy this car that I've been wanting to get. I wanted to get it at the last lease, and they stopped manufacturing it. They redesigned it. $30,000 car, right? Maybe not even $30,000. I forget what it is. And I looked at the payments, and I'm like, I'm not paying $800 a month. I'm not going to pay $800 a month. I don't want to pay it for one vehicle. Could I afford it? I shouldn't afford it. Let's put it that way. So I didn't. I just kept my lease. You know, it kind of pisses me off, but you know that just goes to tell you that a lot of people that are running around with something that you might want, they're probably paying something you don't want to pay for it. You know, and it goes back to the, you know, you only see what people let you see. People go, man, this guy's got all kinds of stuff. They must have a good paying job. This guy's got bill collectors calling him all the time. You know. Same here when I was young. It never really leaves you. Yeah. Yeah, I guess not. That's probably the one thing I get bummed about all the time. You know, all the time is vehicles. Like, man, it'd be nice to have one of those. I'm like, they're how much? Come on, I'm not even asking for anything crazy. It's not like a Porsche or anything like that. But let me give you an example. They were coming out with a new Z, right? And I've always wanted a sports car or a two door car. They don't make two door cars anymore that are stick shifts here in the United States. So you know, I'm like, well, they're supposed to be like $40,000. Let me get one. It'd be nice to get one of those. And then COVID happened, and then they didn't make cars, and then a $40,000 car turned into like a $60,000 car, which I'm not going to buy. You know, and then it's like, I don't, I don't. I always feel like I think a lot about a decision that I'm going to make, not about where you're going to eat dinner. That doesn't matter, you know. But like big purchases, a TV. I'm sorry, it's something that costs $2,000 is a big purchase to me. And I think long and hard because I don't want to regret. I don't want to. I don't want to throw money at the problem and regret the decisions that I made on it. And yeah, I guess it never really leaves you. But I say it all the time. I'm like, and I say it in Spanish to my wife. I said, this doesn't cost that. You know, just because people are willing to, you're like, oh well, that's just how much things are now. Fuck you. We're not. I'm not paying that. And it's nothing I need. If I needed it, well, I don't have a choice, right? But you have a choice. You don't have to have it. It's just really annoying. That's all. Like I buy name brand stuff, but I don't pay full price for it. You don't have to buy junk stuff, but go. I was gonna say go to a secondhand place. Now there's places where you can get deals. Be smart. So like this Black Friday, I was motivated by nothing to spend any money. There was no deals that I was looking for that I found. Nothing, and I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. That's like a thing of the past. Like, oh, everybody's used to spending a shitload of money on things. But I'll tell you what, I'm not motivated to go to stores physically to to buy things. I'm almost always disappointed. Oh, they don't have this. Oh, this is made like this. It's just like I'll just go online. But it's like a catch 22. It's like, well, it's because of people like you that there's not going to be any stores. Well, it's because of people like that have in the stores that don't want to work, that don't want to do anything, that they don't bring in the merchandise. So it's like a catch 22. So I didn't see great sales. Made a church purchase with Michigan Toy Soldier, mostly supplies, because they ran a site wide 20% off. It basically covers shipping and gives me another 10%. And it was things we were going to buy anyways, probably. So a couple of years ago, um, I came across a pair of sunglasses. I wear sunglasses a lot. And I've had an expensive pair of sunglasses before. The only expensive pair of sunglasses I remember buying, I bought them on my honeymoon. Went to department store, like, hey, let's get you some nice pair of polarized sunglasses. And they were over $100. And they stressed me the F out having them. And I'm careful with things, but things happen. Like, shit happens. Unintentionally. Without being a klutz, things happen. So I'm like, I don't want that. I mean, I gotta have polarized glasses because it makes a difference. But I don't care if it's Ray-Ban polarization as opposed to, you know, something else that's third or fourth tier. So, anyways, I came across these pair of sunglasses that were about $20 a piece, and even less if you bought them on sale. And they're pretty decent. They last pretty good. But like everything else, they'll. I was getting in my car the other day, and I had my sunglasses on the top of my head like this. I had probably my readers on or something. I needed to take them with me. And in getting into the car, I clipped the top of the roof and snapped them. I'm like, well, I didn't feel bad because I had them like 5, 6 years or something like that. But I'm like, let me go get some other sunglasses, right? Let me get these sunglasses from this. And they were available like in stores and stuff like that. But, you'd think it'd be cheaper to mail order. So I go to their site, and these glasses that were used to be $20 are now regular price, like $40. I'm like, but that didn't cost that. Like, I'm not paying $40 for your fucking glasses. You know? Well, that's how much they cost now. Well, now I don't buy them. You know? This inflation, this bullshit inflation that we've never had in our entire life. I'm not going to add to the inflationary problem. And you go to these places all the time where they have this, and I think part of it is intentional and part of it is just accidental, where you pay for everything with a card, which I don't use cash at all. I carry cash with me, But that's because Mitch paid me last time he stayed at a hotel, and that was 2 years ago, and I still have that cash in my wallet because I don't use cash. But I'm paying with a card, and then there's always a line like to leave a tip. I'm not leaving a tip at McDonald's. Not that I went to McDonald's, but I'm just saying, there's some places that, I think they just use this service, and it's a service that goes for all businesses, whether it's a countertop only, or it's a or it's a for also like a legitimate restaurant where you're providing a service or something like that. But I think restaurants are the real surprise for me. Yeah, so I don't tip at places that are it's not a tipping place. Like I don't tip you at Starbucks. First of all, I get ice and I get liquid. That's it. I don't do anything else. So why should I? I mean, you the thing I used to order that was like already overpriced and it was almost $3 is now like 6. I'm like, no, you don't get a tip. They don't pay you, and I really think that they don't do this in Europe. And there's a couple things they do in Europe that are better in the United States. Yes, I said that, but only like two. I don't know. I'll go over there and maybe I'll realize there's more than two. And one of them is just pay people a wage. Subsidizing customers part of somebody's pay is stupid. You know, that just doesn't make any sense to me. So, yeah, I don't tip people at Starbucks. The hell, you just, uh, okay, here's $2. You know, how's that $10 coffee? Now, if you drop your prices of your coffee back down to $3, maybe we can go $4 for a coffee, right? And the service is Japan. I usually just get black coffee. Exactly. Definitely no tips. Same thing in Japan, no tips. And the service in Japan is better. Yeah, I don't. When they do away with earthquakes, I'll go to Japan. I'm terrified of earthquakes. And they say, I watched a video when I was in Mexico. They say that if there's an earthquake, you should stay indoors. And I'm like, I'm going outside. When you're outside, a building can't fall on you. And yes, I don't mean the middle of Times Square, okay, where a building could fall, where there's multiple buildings. I'm talking about outside like the freaking country. Like if you're in a house by itself, like go outside. Nothing. What are you gonna do? Fall in a crack in the ground? Well, that could happen to you inside of a building as well. I'm absolutely terrified of earthquakes. And then being in a subway on an earthquake. No. And it's just I like being around people that are the same. How do I say this without sounding? Well, you guys, you've heard me enough. Just being around people that just behave the same way you behave. Like I don't even like going to a big city. Like in Virginia, where you're from, Virginia, I'm sure I would get along just fine because that's kind of how I am. I mean, I don't want to live on a dirt road, okay, but that's how I am. But when I go down to Miami, it is just a bunch of fucking assholes. And it's still Florida, and I still understand them because I speak both languages, but it's like, I don't want to live in that environment, you know? And there's a lot of stuff about like Japan that's really, really cool, but it's like a land of extremes. They're like really like standoffish, but then they do some wild stuff, man. They do some stuff that, like, you ain't stuffing me in a subway. But I wouldn't get in one of those subways that's like this anyways. I'm like, I'll just take the next one. And if the next one's that way, I said, well, we'll just wait like 3 hours. Like, I'm not dealing with that kind of stuff. I understand the earthquake feel. I felt one almost every day. Oh no. Yeah, there's things about Japan I would absolutely love. And there'd be some things like, the fuck's wrong with you people? And I'm sure people like, and I'm talking about metropolitan areas. I'm sure that people in I would like non-large cities in Japan better. There's no doubt about it. There's things about Tokyo. There's no doubt about I would like. There's oh, I love Japanese shit. You know, I wouldn't dare drive a car that's not Japanese. I wouldn't. Just like there's a lot of stuff they do right, but it's a land of extremes. I guess people could say the same thing about the United States. I'm used to these extremes. They have an even worse work culture than we do, don't they? Like they're like slaves to their work. Like, nah, we're overworked here as it is. Except they drive on the British side of the road. Those necios. That's Spanish for pig-headed. All right, time to start the morning breakfast. Might be more open tonight if you're on. Okay, yeah, I will get on here and do this as often as I can. So here's the thing: you take a place like Hong Kong that was a British colony, and can we all agree it should have stayed a British colony? I have a feeling that the people who were in Hong Kong probably would have preferred it to be a British colony, but anyhow, um, I just assume people want more freedom. But anyhow, um, do they still drive on the British side of the road? Because they don't in the rest of China, I would imagine. I mean, if they're allowed to drive, if the imperial federal government decides to let you drive, I think they drive on the normal side of the rest of China. Do you switch for Hong Kong or? SDKFZ 251 fives. Man, they get no representation. I rarely see those. There's always the 7 that was the bridge layer. I guess the 7 really only carries the ramps then. It's kind of like a waiter and he only serves dessert. That's what the SDKFZ 251 7 is. The main course is delivered by the other people, the other vehicles. Well, I do have a cute half track coming that has no gun on it. A prime mover. We'll see how that goes. Probably going to be the first thing I'm going to paint. It's kind of an ugly thing, but not everything can be beautiful. Jeffrey, don't know if you're still on here, but you tagged me on a post that reminded me of this. Apparently, this thing that goes on that I didn't realize it went on, because I don't understand trolls. I don't understand people that do things that are just what I would consider a waste of time. But there was this post that reminded me of these groups. I didn't know this was a thing. A group that posts like military pictures, which I'm a fan of. I was a member of a lot of those groups because they give you inspiration. Maybe you'll want to build a vehicle, or you'll see some photo that you've never seen before. But there's many groups that apparently post pictures that there's nothing wrong with the picture. It's not like it's an inappropriate picture, but the caption is completely wrong. Just to get a narrative going, to get people commenting on it. And it reminds me of people that do things for attention. You know, like, that's fine if you want to do things for attention, but do you really want to get bad attention? And some people would tell you, yeah, it's attention. And I'd be like, nah, it's not worth my time. I don't want bad attention. But I didn't think you could, like, monetize a Facebook site where getting commentary on a video really gets you anything. I didn't realize that was like a thing. Maybe it isn't. But that's, somebody was explaining to me, why do all these sites have all this wrong information? Because, you know, my method of thinking is, if it's, let's say I do videos, and every time I put something that's a video, there's something wrong on it deliberately, people are going to think I'm stupid, you know, and I don't want to think that. I'd rather people think I'm an asshole than stupid. You know, I don't want to unintentionally mislead anybody. You know, yeah, I'm going to make mistakes, but just to do it on purpose? What's the reasoning behind that? They're going to be like, I don't go to that site. Why? It's just a bunch of lies. Maybe other people like to swallow the lies more than I do. Yes, they look for comments and likes to get picked up by the algorithm. But what good does it do them? What good does it do them? Like, let's say I create a group. I actually have a group created. I don't have any content on it, but it's for the Face of Battle rules. Well, let's say I put, you know, the Face of Battle, you know, and I put things on there all the time. Here's a picture of a panther. It was really powerful in the desert. Just to get people to say, that's not a panther, that's a British tank. Oh, that's a Crusader. No, it's not. It's an A13. Oh, yeah, it is. You know, I'll meet you out back, and I'm going to kick your ass if you know. What's the point in having that kind of narrative? I mean, you don't monetize Facebook sites like that. I mean, you could put your video on Facebook, and that could be monetized, but I don't think your site could be monetized. So you just fall into the you're causing trouble category. You know, it's like the people that are like, I read the DBA rules one time and you're doing it all wrong. Well, we played it 2,000 times and played it various things, and we don't do it that way. Well, you're wrong. You know, like, what's the purpose in creating turmoil? I never understood that. I always chalked it up to, like, these people don't have anything to live for and want to cause trouble. Imps. Gremlins from the Kremlin. So I've been on the lookout, and I've actually left many, many groups because of that. It never occurred to me that there would be that kind of stuff on there. Because DBA's poisoned me. Like, I go and I put something, and then people want to argue and put, like, wrong information out. I'm like, I don't want to be involved in wrong information stuff. Or, like, you know, these people that, it's like the Pied Piper. You know, they get taken off of a freaking cliff. I'm like, dude, man, bring your freaking kids back, you know? There's a lot of that goes on. But I just assume people are honest and truthful. I know, I'm in for a rude awakening. Well, I'll tell you something about the algorithm, which I shouldn't use words I don't know how to spell. It's not true. I know how to spell that one. Somebody told me, it was Ben. Ben told me about doing shorts. And so I tried doing a short. And the problem with doing a short is that it's too short. It's only 15 seconds. So I can't even get a sentence out in 15 seconds. And so in doing a short, I'm like, well, I guess I'll put this out there. It's 15 seconds, almost like an announcing what was coming up in my video. And I've gotten hundreds of views. I mean, just an astounding amount of views. And I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why. So I'll have this video that has like really good information on it, I think. And I hardly get anybody that watches it. And then this basically piece of crap that's 15 seconds long and a million clicks on it. I just don't understand it. Maybe it just doesn't get suggested to people, you know? That's the problem, is I'm not getting enough suggestions of different things. I don't know. But I'm not putting wrong information out on purpose just to get more views. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of YouTube channels. Well, there's one I can think of that I came across. And this guy is prolific. Most people would probably know who this person is. They do car stuff, car repair. This is a retired mechanic. And this guy knows a lot. And first he seemed like a lunatic because he's like flapping his arms, like, you know, he does these weird mannerisms that don't go with what he's talking about while he's doing it, right? Almost as bad as, who's that guy? Simon Shama. Simon Shama is impossible to watch. You know, he's got a condition. You know, the historian Simon Shama. But this guy's like really distracting with his gestures. I talk with my hands, but you know, hopefully I'm not doing gestures that don't go along with what I'm talking about. But regardless, I kind of started liking this guy. Like, he had some stuff that made you think, and I'm not the most mechanically inclined person, but I'm willing to learn. And I was watching some of his videos, and he would do all of these titles like, "That's it, it's the end for Toyota. They've really screwed this one up." So you're like, fuck, let me watch a video. You know, I had a Toyota at the time. Let me watch this video. And then the video has nothing to do with that. So all this like clickbait shit. I'm like, once I find out you're a clickbaiter, like, I don't watch your stuff. Like, I'm not falling for your thing. You know, it might work on some people, but, you know, once you're a false prophet, that's it. You're out of here. So I didn't subscribe to him anymore. Like, I'm not watching your stuff. You're like, the sky is falling. What's that? And you don't even mention the sky. I'm like, no, that doesn't work with me. It's bad enough with the news. You know, they'll post a picture. I'll give you an example. I bet it's on my front page. It's been on here for the last 3 days. Let's see. Let me go to Google. See what's on the front of my Google. Warhammer 40K alternatives. I don't know why I didn't search for that. Now I won't be able to find it. I can, but not exactly the same example of it. Let's try it again. Shuffle new things. But it's something about temperatures dropping in Florida. And it shows a freaking snow meter with snow on the ground. It's never going to rain. It's never going to snow like that in Florida unless there's an ice age. Okay? And it's like, you know, it's just baiting you. Heading outside, bundle up, freezing warnings, frost advisories in effect in Florida. Okay, sure. It got under 30 last night. Zippity doo dah. You know? It gets into the 18s here. I think it's gotten to 16 before. Okay, big deal. It'll be warm but it was like a little picture. It's like, you know, bundle up or whatever, you know, this frost things, and it'll show like the snow meter with like 3 inches of snow. Like you're selling lies, you know. I don't know, some people don't. That just bugs me. That just bugs me. I don't live my life that way. But I also work in an industry that, there are some people that like to, you know sell you a bunch of lies, and I'm just like, I'm tired of it. I'm not going to put up with it. It's too much real stuff to do to be worried about that. Well, I thought I could get the 25 pounder done this morning with a black lining, but see, that's what I get for being an optimist. We got to do the back of the gun shield, so you can have it look like. Nah, I probably can't see it worth a damn in the photo. There's beautiful detail, and we haven't even done the rusty bits. There's beautiful detailing in this somewhat basic model. Actually, this doesn't even have the dusting on it done afterwards. You know, but that's where we'll pick up. So if I tell you something wrong, trust me, it was unintentional. Because that would keep me up at night. And what does this look like with one of these things on here? Yeah, and this should be able still to attach if I want to do a scenario where these guys are on the move. I wish this was a bit more secure. Something like that. That takes up a lot of space, man. You can hide like a couple guys here, a couple guys there, a couple guys behind the gun shield while you're taking rifle fire from some sand Nazis or something like that coming in that direction. Yeah, I think the interior painted black is the way to go. You can't see a darn thing in there. So, but I use the craft paint, so it's nice and flat. So, all right, folks. Well, thanks for stopping by, and we'll catch you guys maybe later.